My plan right now is Daytona.
Am I really going to walk in here and pretend that I look like this when I wake up to start my reading vlog? Yes. So, welcome to the reading vlog, folks. I decided to film another reading vlog after filming my first reading vlog maybe 2 weeks ago, where I read a lot of classic novels. Honestly, I did not expect that reading vlog to do as well as it did. I'm not saying that I shot to YouTube celebrity status. It only has like 800 views, but that's 800 more views than expected. I literally thought that nobody would watch that reading vlog, so I'm guessing people are a little bit curious as to my daily life and also to what books I read during the week. I am a mood reader, so there are a lot of books that I like to read, and there's just like so many genres that I like to read too as well. So you never really know what you're getting in my reading vlogs, but I'll try to follow a set schedule of events so you guys will know exactly what I'm putting you through in this video. Yesterday at around 3 a.m. I uploaded a community post. I love community posts. It's where I get to interact with you guys the most, where I can make sure that you guys are seeing my comments. You guys are seeing my survey questions I always tend to put out so that I can have a better understanding of what my audience wants. So obviously the number one thing that I do for booktube is myself. It should always be myself, but I also have to keep in mind that I can't just go on a stage and perform for just the sake of performing. I have to perform for the audience. I have to understand the demographic and the things that they want to see in the videos to please them, because I'm a people pleaser. So anyways, long story short, I asked on my community post at 3 a.m. last night, I asked them, what do you want to see in reading vlogs? Because I don't know, like I watch a couple of reading vlogs, but it's like I don't even know what I like in those reading vlogs that I watch. I think it's more of the personality. I think about their calm, soothing nature. I don't really care for B-roll, but I started quickly realizing that the things that I don't like are things that a lot of people like on booktube. So obviously I don't want to just like make a video to please myself and then just forget about all the opinions of the rest of the world. So I put up that survey to see what I'm missing, and so many people, 8 people actually came back to me and gave me comments as to what I can include to do better in my reading vlogs. And I know you're thinking to yourself, 8 people, that's it? I think that's a lot. 8 people took time out of their day to write me like paragraphs and essays of their thoughts and feelings towards how to make my reading vlogs better and to like make it something that they'll actually gravitate towards in the future and to also look towards in the future. So if you guys are like a small creator, or if you're just a bigger creator overall, pay attention to what your audience wants and what your audience needs are, because it's fascinating stuff and they love you because they're watching you, so they're genuinely there to try to help you. It's the constructive feedback that I just love. Let's go through some of the responses that I got from people, and just as I click this, 9 people have replied back to me. So a lot of people actually like B-roll and they think that sometimes it is fun to see like stuff like that. They like to learn about life updates. They like chatty. There are a bunch of people that really like chatty videos and chatty vlogs because they tend to put videos in the background while they're multitasking and doing things, and I'm guilty of doing that anyways, but these people are so like apologetic about it. They're like, oh, I sometimes don't really pay attention, sorry, but like I love chatty videos. Yeah, like girl, I got you, I understand. So other things they like, life stuff. and they like to have like a certain agenda. Like I mentioned, they want to know exactly what kind of reading vlog they're diving into. And at first I was like, like that's kind of boring, no? Because like I tell you what I'm gonna do and then I do it, like that's boring. But then I also understand that in order to have like a proper consistent storyline to your vlog, it's always nice to have a beginning, middle, and end, so you can feel that sense of completeness when you finish a vlog, that you've actually lived through that person's life. People are also talking about how they want quick reactions to books that I'm reading, maybe even a summary in the end of all the books I have read, so that people can have that true understanding of my opinions on books, so they're not like missing my thoughts and stuff like that. People have told me that I had a great sense of humor, so I don't have to do anything exciting for them. But yeah, and they also obviously want like cozy stuff, and I want to make cozy content. I'm not like the coziest person ever because I'm just chaotic energy all the time. So that is all the responses I've received so far, and it's only been like what, 6 hours? I love you guys. You guys are amazing. I know I don't reply to all the comments on my videos all the time, and it's like frustrating, and it's like, does she even read my comments? Should I even post another comment? And I just want to tell you guys, I do. I truly appreciate every single comment that I get, and I know who you are. We are friends, even though I don't reply to you. And the reason why I don't reply to you guys all the time, or like less frequently than I should, is simply because I'm just super wiped out at the end of the day from work. My work is it takes up a lot of my time in my life. I'm not only just working like 8-hour days or 9-hour days, I'm working up to like 10, 12, 13-hour days. So by the time that I'm finished work, which is usually around like 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. on a weekday, I am absolutely drained, and I just want to relax with mindless television or sitting in bed and reading novellas that are just quick, simple, and easy to digest. So I apologize if I am not replying to you guys and making you guys feel like that I don't care, but I truly do care. And the reason why I even put those community posts up and those polls is because I care about what you like about me in particular, and how I can improve this channel to make it something that you can gravitate towards to. It's something that you can actually watch and feel that we have that special connection and bond, because we do. I'm just not showing my side. Anyways, let's move on to the agenda of this vlog. I know it sounds super serious, like I'm starting a Zoom meeting with you guys at work, but this is Friday. This is the start of my long weekend. My company has these things called flex days, where we're allowed to take up to 2 flex days a month for just a mental wellness check, and just for like any personal reasons that you might need time off for. So it gives us the opportunity to hang out with our family, to go to a doctor's appointment, to take time off because we're mentally drained from our jobs during the pandemic. And we're still living in a pandemic situation here in Canada, where we're under lockdown and we're trying to maintain, what's going on, and we're trying to make sure that our hospitals are not overwhelmed with patients and things like that. But regardless, so I took 2 days off, mostly because I am so drained from work, obviously. I felt like my December was not a proper holiday month. I know a lot of people were like thinking like they were really relaxed during the holidays. Maybe they had 2 weeks off on vacation, they had time to reset, and they had time to spend with their families. But my job is very demanding, and I never really got that feeling from the job. When people were talking about how 2021 ended and 2022 started, it literally felt like Groundhog Day, where it just was just another weekend that passed by, and it's just another month that I have to work through. And that's like the life that I chose anyways. It's not my organization's fault. It's literally just the life that I chose when I started this career, when I started this job. And I'm very grateful for the things and the opportunities that I have been given in my life through this job. And I'm also like grateful for everything my organization provides for me as well. So there's pros and cons to every position, but that's just like my life update. So long story short, I took 2 days off. So I took Friday and Monday off. Friday, I managed to complete all my work on Thursday evening, so I don't really have to do anything today except for log in after like 5 o'clock-ish to send out one last report to a client. And then on Monday, I will hopefully have the whole morning at least to myself, and then the evening will just be me catching up on all the work that I missed, that I have to prepare for my Tuesday meetings with my clients and also my managers. So it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's not like 2 complete full days off, but it's better than nothing. In terms of reading, this reading vlog will feature me hopefully reading a lot of historical romance. I know, it's a fan favorite. I feel like a lot of people follow me here because of my historical romance recommendations, because of my historical romance videos, because last year I dove really deeply into creating historical romance content, mostly because I was reading a lot of historical romance and I was seeing that reaction. I was seeing the audience being really excited about my recommendations, and I was like, this could be my brand. I could build myself into a historical romance reader. I could make myself known as the historical romance booktuber. This might be something. I might be on to something. And then it quickly faded out towards like the last quarter of the year because I just got tired of the genre. It's not like I hate it. It's just that like I wanted to read something easier. Like I just wanted to read something different. And so my videos have kind of waned off from historical romance, and it's not like I'm seeing a terrible reaction from my views and from my comments. It's just normal, staggered amount of views that I always get with my videos, and I'm so grateful for that. Obviously, no matter what content I'm putting out there, there's somebody watching me, and it shocks me every day that somebody always tends to watch me, because I've started this YouTube channel for maybe 3 years now, and I'm still shocked that I'm still posting videos because it takes so much time to film and edit videos, but also B, that my audience continues to come back and to watch my videos. But I'm going off topic. We're going back into historical romances for this reading vlog. I started a Grace Callaway series that I am extremely loving, and I have to show you a very exciting haul. Okay, I came back with the books, but this whole week I just was not having it. It was my busiest week at work. I'm sure everybody feels this, and everybody has those moments in their jobs in the month, especially if you work in like finance or accounting, where you are very heavy with work either in the first 2 weeks of the month, or you're really heavy in the last 2 weeks of the month, where you're just trying to wrap up everything that happened in the month. So unfortunately for me, it is the last couple of weeks of the month where I had to wrap up everything. And I'm still going to be super busy this week because I have a lot of client meetings that I have to do, and there's just more deadlines that I have to pay attention to. But we're not going to think about that in that reading vlog. We're going to talk about the books that I bought to make myself feel better and to make me feel something. Because when you work yourself to the bone, you feel sort of numb at some point, and you need something to feel something, right? So I either choose spending way too much money and buying books that I don't need. But I feel like this choice that I made right here with this series called the Heart of Enquiry series by Grace Callaway, it was neither of that. Yes, it was a lot of money. Indie published historical romances tend to be expensive, but I started this series over the weekend before I even bought the books, and I really enjoyed them, so I knew I had to get them. Plus the covers are gorgeous. So I read The Duke Who Knew Too Much, which is book number 1 in the Heart of Enquiry series by Grace Callaway over the weekend last week, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars, mostly because there is a mystery plot line in this book that I just didn't jive with. I just didn't care for it. I thought that the big reveal happened way too earlier on, and we were just on a hunt for the villain. And then when the villain was revealed, it just was crazy. It was bonkers. It felt like that the mystery and intrigue was slapped together. But the one thing that I really enjoyed about this book, not only just because the cover is really pretty and this is the new cover, but because I really liked our hero. Our hero is the starchy, grumpy character that no longer believes in love anymore, but he's really attracted to our heroine. And I know that like that type of character is really annoying. Those guys that just don't believe in love, don't think that they deserve love, and they just are very stubborn throughout the book. But he himself was also very possessive in a way that I really enjoyed. Energy in this book was just something I really liked, because she would tease him and then he would just challenge her. She would go like, you know, maybe I'll find someone else. And then he's like, damn you if you do. And I was just like, this is like my type of book. I just really like the two characters. Plus, if you haven't read Grace Callaway before, Grace Callaway is a steaming historical romance author. She is not afraid to push the limits in historical romance, especially since she is indie published. So she's willing to put a lot of sensual scenes in novels that you would never read in traditionally published historical romance. And I really enjoyed it. The next book that I picked up is this one called M is for the Marquess. And this one is book number 2. So this one, similar plot line too as well. Our hero is a similar sort of character. He is the person that doesn't believe in love anymore, had something dark in the past that happened that made him kind of just dark and shady throughout his whole life. But this one is kind of a spy historical romance novel because he is a spy, or he used to be a spy. He went on a lot of crazy missions in the past before, he killed a lot of people, and he carries that stain on his heart throughout his whole entire life. He's also a single father, and his wife unfortunately has passed away, and he is still not grieving over the loss of it, but he's thinking about it a lot, and he's letting that death hang over him and make him stop having a sense of like happiness, because he doesn't feel that he deserves to be happy because he thinks that he killed his wife, but he didn't. Meanwhile, our heroine is in love with him. They had a strong connection when they first met, you know? They weren't courting each other, but they sure did share a lot of kisses that made her think that he was attracted to her. And the one thing I really liked about this book is that our heroine is very strong. Grace writes really strong heroines that know how to fight, that know how to solve crime, that know how to stand up for themselves. Although our heroine has health issues that make her seem weak and that people might think that she can't handle certain situations, our heroine stands up for herself in other ways. Our hero is very hot and cold and always flaking on her in certain situations. And she literally just stops him right there and goes, I'm tired of this. Like, if you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, you don't like me. And if you don't like me, I'll go find someone that does like me. And I was just shocked when she said something like that. And I just really like this couple. Our hero is a single father, so obviously our heroine is going to be the motherly figure to the child. And it was just so heartwarming to watch this small family get together. And then obviously this book also has mystery and intrigue in it as well. Someone's trying to kill our hero, but I think that Grace did a really good job in this one, where the mystery and intrigue actually had mystery to it, and it was actually interesting to watch who the true villains are and what exactly happened to our hero in the past when all that was unveiled. So I really enjoyed this book, and honestly I was binging this read, and whenever I had to take breaks while reading this book, I was struggling so hard. You know, like how when you start a book and then you do something and then you're just like, oh man, I can't wait until I get to sit down and read that book again. Yeah, this was that type of book. And these were books that I actually didn't have the audiobooks for, so I had to physically read them / read them on my e-reader and borrow it from the library. Really like the series so far. So going forward with like other books in the series, there's this one called The Lady Who Came in the Cold, and this one is a shorter book. It is a novel size. This is a full-length novel size. I don't know why like one story has to be maybe like 100 pages less than this book, but I don't know. This one involves a female heroine who used to be a spy. She got married, she put her spy coat on the rack and she gave up on that, and she thought she put that life past her, but then somebody unveiled her secrets, and now she has to win her husband back because her husband never knew this whole side of her before. And he is obviously shocked because they have kids together, they had this wonderful marriage, and like, why does she have to lie to him all these years? So it's about her groveling and her coming back to him and begging him for forgiveness. I haven't read this book yet, but this is the book that I want to start in this reading vlog and hopefully finish and give you guys my thoughts on. Okay, so the next book in the series is this one called The Viscount Always Knocks Twice. And I don't know what this book is about, but this book has a really gorgeous cover. I like the contrast of the yellow and the blue. It's just something that made me click place order now on Amazon. Okay, so this one sounds so freaking good, guys. It's an enemies to lovers romance where our hero and hero get caught up in a sticky situation that leaves them both feeling rattled because they never knew how strongly attracted they were to each other, and they hate each other because of the certain situation that I guess humiliated both of them in front of society. Our hero needs to marry an heiress to pay off his brother's debts, so he shouldn't be focusing on her because she doesn't have that much money, I believe. But he can't stop thinking about her. And okay, I'm going to try to read this book in this reading vlog too as well, because I need to read this ASAP. I have 4 days to read this novel. It should be okay, guys, right? Okay, so the next book in the series is this one called Never Say Never to an Earl. And this one involves our heroine, who is like a young innocent. I feel like that Grace writes a lot of characters in the same series that are deemed to be young innocent virgins, which is like, you know, that's like the type of character that everybody wanted in society back then, or everybody who tried to be back then, right? Like, you know, nobody back then was doing a TikTok dance in like a crop top and short shorts. So everybody was deemed respectable. But whatever, that's not the point. The point is that our heroine really knows like investigative ways, I guess, and she just knows how to read people a lot. So she meets our hero. Our hero is very dark, and he's mysterious, and he gets accused of murder. Now our heroine is like, wait, not him. He couldn't have done it, because I have like this like fifth sense that I just know that he couldn't have done it. So now she is that annoying little girl, not little, but she's that annoying girl that follows him around and that tries to solve this mystery and crime so that he can be free of all these accusations. And I think this one's going to be very fun. I think this is very similar to actually book number 1, because book number 1 followed that same plot line too as well. Our hero gets accused of murder, and then our heroine has to step in to help solve. So I want to see like the comparisons and contrasts to these two stories, and hopefully they're not too similar to each other, because then it'll just be a little bit boring. Okay, so the last book in the series is this one called The Gentleman Who Loved Me. This one involves a very interesting plotline. So our heroine is a bastard, and she needs to, you know, win the eyes of society back again. She needs to please them. But then it backfires, and then now her reputation is in tatters. So she turns towards her very good friend, who is actually the owner of London's most successful pleasure house. And our hero actually used to be a prostitute, which I've never read before. This should be very interesting. I feel like this one might be the hottest one of all, simply because of his occupation. But I'll be interested in the story to see where it would take me. And then obviously it's a friends to lovers romance, which I haven't really read too many of in historical romance. So I think it's gonna be super cute. Okay, I just realized that this clip is super long already. It's probably like 20 minutes by the time I finish editing it. But hopefully you guys like this chatty portion. The rest of the day will be me editing a book haul video that I filmed last weekend. And then I will be also reading books, obviously in the afternoon too as well. I would typically go outside for a walk for a mental health break, but the floors, like the sidewalks, the roads are just covered in ice. I think if I go outside right now and walk, I would probably like slip on a patch of ice and break my arm. If not my arm, my leg. So I'm kind of really sad about it, because it's actually a really beautiful day outside. There's not one single cloud in the sky. It's very sunny. It's cold, like in the negatives, but what can I do? Hello, it is 2 p.m. now. It's been around 2.5 hours since I've checked in with you guys. I've since finished lunch, and I have managed to finish my first book in this reading vlog, which is The Lady Who Came in from the Cold. I don't know what I said in my last clip, but basically, a quick short summary of this book is that it is a historical romance featuring a marriage in trouble. It features two characters that are actually older. I think the hero is in his 40s, and our heroine is also on the borderline of 40s too, as well. They already have 3 children together, but the children are still a little bit young. Some trigger warnings for this book include sexual assault that did take place, unfortunately, in our female heroine's past. And then also the fact that our hero and heroine had to go through a stillborn pregnancy birth that took place a couple years back, and that was just the backstory. I was debating whether or not I should talk about the trigger warnings in this book because sometimes trigger warnings can be a spoiler, but I also didn't want people to pick up this book thinking that it was just a marriage and trouble romance and nothing else is going to happen, and then they kind of walk blindly into something that might be triggering or something upsetting towards the reader. So anyways, this one started off so strong. I love marriage in trouble troped books, and I always wish like we could get more of that in romance. I feel like that would just open up a whole door to a whole new group of readers, of romance readers, who might be going through something like that, or who just want that raw, emotional, realistic side of marriage and of a relationship in general. It's never always going to be a good, solid, happily ever after. What happened with our heroine is that she has a bunch of lies because she used to be a spy, and unfortunately her husband has found out because her nemesis sent a letter and exposed everything to him. I really like this book because I thought that our characters went through a lot, and he was just so mean and cruel in the very beginning because he felt betrayed. And I felt like those emotions were justified. Like, I felt that, I would be pretty upset too if my future husband lied to me about his whole past and he didn't feel comfortable to share his secrets with me. And, there's like a whole slew of reasons why, like, I would be upset too as well. But there were a couple of things that made me annoyed. And I think this book, I gave it the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think that the ending was what I wanted to make me feel like that our hero's actions and reactions were justified. So our hero was very cold and cruel to our heroine after he found out the news. And there were things that her friends pointed out in the story that I completely agree with. Her friends were saying how he should at least hear you out. He should at least have an open conversation with you to learn more about your past. And true love always forgives. Because if you truly love someone, you will forgive the person for their past of what they did. And at least try to forgive at least. But he never did that. And I was thinking this entire time, like, by the ending, like, our hero would hear her out, but it just never really happened. Obviously, there's a pivotal point in the story where everything comes out and the whole truth comes out. But it was more so like our female heroine forcing him to listen to her. And I just wanted more from him. Like, I wanted him to feel bad that he never listened to her in the first place. And I wanted him to have more of that time festering because he let the majority of the book letting her feel horrible for her secrets. But I wanted him to kind of feel bad that, he did fall in love with this person. He didn't give her the benefit of the doubt, right? And I didn't really get that emotional impact that I wanted. And I also think that, like, the problem with this book too is that it's a whole 100 pages, like 150 pages shorter than all the other books. And I felt that maybe if the book was longer, I would have gotten those scenes and that emotional impact that I really wanted. And then I also didn't like how our hero forgave her very quickly. I wanted her to kind of have her moment, have her TED talk a little bit longer so that he could really forgive her, even though, like, half the time he did something wrong too in the book. He should also be begging for forgiveness too as well. And then towards the end of the book, there's also some silly things that do tend to happen in this series where, like, there's a final twist and it's like a final act that lasts maybe like 10 to 15 pages. It's just, I don't feel like it's necessary. And I feel like that's a good warning too if you were to pick up this book. But needless to say, I really still enjoyed this book. I loved the writing of it. It was still a little bit lighthearted. It was a Christmas read. It was a sensual read. It wasn't as hot as the other ones, but it's still a good story in the series, and I would still recommend people to check out the series from Grace. I also forgot to mention that this series follows like a whole family of sisters, and then it's like each sister falling in love. There's also a brother in there too as well, I think, but it's just like the sisters falling in love with these heroes that are very starchy, who doesn't believe in love, or who hold themselves accountable for everything that they do. And then the next one is the most exciting one that I have, which is the one where it's enemies to lovers. And they already like talked a little bit about those two people kind of like getting into some trouble at the end of the book. And it reminds me of a Karen Hawkins novel called How to Capture a Countess, where she accidentally pushed our hero into a fountain. But then in Grace's book, our heroine accidentally pushed him into like a champagne fountain at the ball, and like the whole town is talking about it. So hopefully I get to start on it. I think I'm going to start on it right now, but then I'm also like tired and I kind of want to take a nap, because like anytime I take a day off, I feel like it's wasted if I don't take a nap. But I want to start on that book because it's been on my mind ever since I talked about it to you guys.